My name is Blessing, and this is Wired.
What's cracking, y'all? This is Be Real, the Buddha Master from Cypress Hill, blazing it in the cut with my man Julio G. 24/7 420 Radio Los Santos.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a game that I played a lot when I was about 13 years old, an age where I was too young to be playing a game like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's a game that I love. It's one of my favorite games, and it's a game that changed me. It's a game that changed my life. It's a game that got me really into gaming and kind of blew my mind about what a game could be and how amazing a game could be. And so that's why I kind of want to talk about it, and that's why I want to get into it. And so here we go. San Andreas, a land of opportunity, diversity, and culture. And that isn't a joke. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is one of my favorite games of all time. It's a game that completely changed my perspective of games and what a game could be. Part of this is due to the amount of activities you can engage in during your stay in San Andreas. It was the first game I played where I felt like anything was possible. San Andreas was a state I could live in forever, getting into police chases, and when I get tired of that, play some pool or bid on some horse races, or jetpack across the world, or fly my car, or hit up a casino, or get into gang fights. The world of San Andreas was and is mine, but along with an engaging, immersive world, San Andreas also portrayed a culture and lifestyle that was new to games. And as a black kid growing up, this made Grand Theft Auto San Andreas doubly engaging for me. And that's what I want to talk about. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas combines an immersive world with a unique cultural experience to create a special, iconic game. San Andreas' way of tackling a unique era and culture wasn't necessarily a new thing for Grand Theft Auto. Vice City before it did a similar thing with 80s Miami. This is a game that many people also regard as their favorite Grand Theft Auto, and they're not unreasonable for that opinion. Vice City's portrayal of 80s Miami is well realized, unique, and a fun playground to play around in and explore in. But for me personally, San Andreas takes the cake for reasons that may be less obvious than originally thought. When I was a 13-year-old boy, I was black. Hard to believe, but that's the truth. I grew up in a very mixed culture of people, listened to a lot of hip-hop, not necessarily because I was black, but because that was the genre I enjoyed. I even talked a certain way. I was a certain type of person. I didn't and wouldn't define myself with labels because I'm a unique human being, but given my race, style, and environment, Vice City didn't resonate with me. But when I started getting into San Andreas, the game felt right. It depicted a culture and environment I could take interest in. I've never come close to experiencing gang violence in real life, but I felt like I could still relate to San Andreas' protagonist, CJ. From the way the characters talked, to the humor, to the soundtrack, and every facet of the game, I felt invited. I felt curious, and more so than in any other game, I felt at home. CJ and many of the main characters in the game were black, and so was I. They used language I did, listened to music I did, and their struggles and trials and tribulations made me feel for them because I felt like I understood how they felt. The unique environment made Los Santos and the gang culture present in the city jarring in the gaming sphere, but not in a bad way. The game stood out. It was different, but that uniqueness added to its attractiveness, and its depiction of early 90s gang culture made the game fascinating. But what amplified San Andreas' depiction of black culture was how immersive the game was. It's one thing to be immersed in a culture, it's another thing to get lost in it. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas allows the player to get lost by making a world with both breadth and depth. San Andreas isn't just a city like Liberty City or Vice City. It's a state with 3 cities, a countryside, a desert, beaches, locale, and so on. Las Venturas has casinos you could go to, a hidden strip club, guys walking around dressed up as Elvis that you could murder, and the things that make Vegas, Vegas. San Fierro also has unique qualities to it, along with Los Santos. The world in San Andreas is fleshed out. It's a world that keeps giving you things to do. The civilians have things to say, and you can respond to them negatively or positively. It's not The Witcher 3, but back in 2004, it may as well have been. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's a game that attracted me with its themes, but then submerged me into what it had to offer with its world. We play games like Fallout, The Witcher, and Mass Effect to experience fictional worlds and live lives beyond what we've seen in the real world. But what happens when a game throws you into a culture that we have reference for, but no ability to actually experience? Or what happens when a game even uses a culture that you're ingrained in and uses it as a reference to tell a story and build a world? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a game that did this, and in doing so, created a gaming experience that I will never forget.